Hello guys, welcome back here on Confessions Corner. Please, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe and turn on the notification button so that whenever I upload, you get notified. Let us get into our first story. Hi admin, please post for me as anonymous. My name is Anonymous. I'm a man from Ghana and I have seen things that would make a grown man scream in his sleep. This is my confession, a warning, a truth that you may not want to hear. I was once an ordinary man, hungry for success, desperate for wealth, but in this world, money does not come from sweat alone. The richest men you admire did not make it through hard work. They took the shortcut, they fed the spirits, and I followed in their footsteps. This is how I became rich. This is how I sacrificed the love of my life, my only wife. I met her in South Africa. Her name was Anonymous, a beautiful woman full of life, full of love. She had no idea that from the moment I laid eyes on her, she was already dead. She thought she had found a man who loved her, a man who would give her the world. She did not know I had been given strict instruction: find a woman, a pure soul, bring her home. The spirit who would do the rest. I was patient. I made her trust me. I was the perfect boyfriend. Romantic dates, expensive gifts, whispered promises of a future together. She fell deeper and deeper in love, and then I proposed. She said yes. She did not know that the ring I put on her finger was already cursed. She did not know that the wedding was never meant to be a celebration. It was a funeral. After the wedding, I convinced her to move to Ghana with me. Come meet my family. Come see where I was raised. You will love it there. She smiled, excited. She had no idea she was stepping into a trap. The moment we landed in Accra, things changed. I took her to a remote village far from the city, deep in the forest where the trees whispered at night and the wind carries the voice of the dead, the place where the ritual would be done. She started feeling uneasy. Yo, why are we here? Where is your family? I smiled. You will meet them soon. She did not know I meant the spirits. She did not know that she had no way out. The night before the ritual, the spirits gave me a sign. A black snake slithered into our bedroom and coiled around her ankles as she slept. She did not wake up. She did not feel it. That was when I knew she was ready. At midnight, the elders came. They painted strange symbols on my face, tied red and black beads around my wrist, and led me to the shrine deep in the forest. The drums started, the fire burned high. It was time. I went back to our hut where she lay sleeping peacefully. I sat beside her for a moment, watching her breathe. Then I whispered, "Forgive me." I placed the cloth over her mouth before she could scream. She fought, kicked, clawed at me, but the spirits had already chosen her. She belonged to them now. I dragged her through the forest, her muffled scream lost in the night. When we reached the shrine, the priest stood waiting, a knife in his hand. The spirits were hungry and I was ready to feed them. When the blood touched her skin, the wind howled, the trees shook, the spirits laughed. She begged me with her eyes, tears streaming down her face. But I could not stop. I would not stop. I pushed the knife in deep, deep into her heart. The blood flowed, the spirits drank, and then she opened her eyes, but they were no longer her eyes. They were black, hollow, filled with the darkness of the underworld. And she spoke, not in her voice, but in the voice of the spirits. Now you are truly ours. I felt my body go cold. I tried to move, but I could not. The spirit entered me. I felt their power rush through my veins, filling me with something unnatural. A new force, a new life. And a new blesser was born. From that night, my life changed. Money flowed into my accounts like water. Business thrived. I became one of the richest men in Ghana. People invite me, respect me, feared me, but they did not know the truth. They did not know that every night I hear her voice whispering and calling. They did not know that when I close my eyes, I see her face, her blooded face smiling at me from the dark corners of my room, waiting. They did not know that I'll never be free, because once you feed the spirits, they will always be hungry, and one day they will come for me too. Now I ask you, are you willing to pay the price? Do you desire wealth, power, success? Do you have the courage to give everything in exchange for riches beyond your dreams, wealth beyond imaginations? Cars that never run out of fuel, money that never stopped multiplying, power that made people kneel before me. But the spirits, they never stop asking, they never stop taking. I fed them my wife's blood, but now they wanted more. They whispered in my ear at night, their voices slithering through the darkness like a cold wind. She was only the beginning. Yo, give us more, give us more, give us more. And I knew I had made a deal I could never escape. My wife was supposed to be gone. Her blood had been offered. Her soul had been swallowed. But the spirit lied. She was not gone. She was still here. She did not stay buried beneath the shrine. She followed me. It started with small things. I would hear footsteps in my house when I was alone. A soft humming woman's voice. Her voice mirrors would crack when I looked into them. The lights would flicker, shadows stretching unnaturally long on walls. One night I woke up to find her wedding ring on my pillow, the same ring I had buried with her. And then one night she came back. It was a stormy night. The wind howled outside, rattling the windows of mansion in Accra. I was in my room drinking expensive whiskey, trying to silence the voices in my head. Then I heard it, a knock. 3 knocks, soft, slow, coming from inside my house. I froze. I was alone. The guards were outside. No one should be knocking. Then I heard it again. Knock, knock, knock. I turned my head toward my bedroom door. It opened, and there she was, my wife. But she was not the woman I had married. She was something else. Her skin was pale, almost blue. Her eyes were black, deep and endless like a pit. Her wedding dress was drenched in blood, and she was smiling. Yo, she whispered. My mouth went dry. My body refused to move. Did you miss me? The air in the room turned ice cold. My whiskey glass shattered in my hand. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. She stepped forward, dragging her fingers across the walls, leaving streaks of black blood. You thought you could kill me and be free. I backed away, but the room stretched endless like a nightmare that had no escape. She kept coming. You belong to me now, just like I belong to you. The spirit laughed. The room spun, and then she touched me. Her cold fingers brushed my face, and everything went dark. I woke up in a coffin, buried alive. I screamed, I kicked, I clawed at the hood above me, but the spirits whispered, "This is what you asked for." Dirty filled mouth. My lungs burned. My heart pounded in terror. Then, just as I was about to suffocate, I woke up again. But this time I was not in my mansion. I was back in the shrine. The fire was burning. The elders were chanting. The high priest was standing over me, holding a knife. I was tied to the altar, just like my wife had been. And then I heard her voice, "Now it's your turn." She was standing at the edge of the shrine, watching, smiling. The spirits had betrayed me. I was not their master. I was their next sacrifice. I screamed, I begged, I pleaded for mercy, but there was none. The priest raised the knife. I felt the blade press against my chest. Then I woke up back in my mansion, sweating, panting, gasping for air, but the whispers remained. The spirits laughed because I finally understood the truth. I would never die. I would never rest. I had become the sacrifice, and every night I would die again and again. Every night I would wake up inside the coffin. Every night the knife would cut into me. I was trapped forever. This is the price of wealth. This is the curse of a blesser. Now I ask you, do you still want to be rich? Do you still want the power, the cars, the houses, the endless money? I can give you the shortcut, but once you take it, you will never be free because the spirits are always watching and they are always hungry. Yo, what a strange confession. Let us move over to our next confession. I was just a small girl from a township dreaming of a soft life when I met Mr. Anonymous. Everything changed. He was rich, mysterious, and generous. Everything a girl like me could ever want. Expensive dinners, shopping sprees, weekend getaways. I was living the dream. One Friday afternoon, he invited me to his house for the weekend. Not a hotel this time, but his actual mansion in a secluded estate far from the city. The moment we drove through the gate, I felt uneasy. The house was beautiful but cold, like it had never known love. The air smelled of something unfamiliar, like burnt herbs and old blood. That first night, I noticed strange things, whispering voices in the corridors, shadows moving where no one stood, but I convinced myself it was just my imagination. After all, I was in a mansion with a man who made all my problems disappear with a single bank transfer. But Saturday night, everything changed. Mr. Anonymous led me to a massive candlelight bathroom with a clawfoot tub in the center. My heart pounded when I saw what was inside. Thick red liquid filling the tub to the brim. Blood. Bath, my love, he said, his voice smooth, almost hypnotic. This will make you powerful, reach beyond your wildest dream. I wanted to run. Every fiber of my being screamed at me to leave, but I was frozen, trapped between fear and the temptation of the life he promised me. Slowly, I stepped into the tub. The blood was warm, thick, clinging to my skin as I lowered myself into it. My breath came in sharp gasps. He watched me with a satisfied smile, nodding approvingly. Then, as I sat there, trembling, he whispered, "Now you must bath, my beloved." He led me to another room, a hidden chamber behind a bookshelf. Inside, two creatures awaited me. One was a giant black snake, coiled lazily in the corner, its yellow eyes fixed on me. The other, I don't even have words for it, a small hunched figure with rough dark skin and red beady eyes, a tokolosh. My stomach turned as Mr. Anonymous handed me a golden basin filled with warm water. "Clean them well," he said. "They must be pleased with you." My hands shook as I poured water over the snake, its tongue flicking against my arm, sending shivers through me. Then I turned to the togoloshi. It grinned me, sharp teeth glinting under the dim light. As I wiped its skin, it giggled, a sound so unnatural it made my blood run cold. I wanted to scream. I wanted to leave, but deep down I knew I had already gone too far. That was the night I realized nothing in this world comes for free, and I had just paid the ultimate price. The moment I finished bathing the snake and the togoloshi, everything inside me shifted. My skin felt tight, like it didn't belong to me anymore. The air in the room grew heavier, pressing against my chest. Mr. Anonymous smiled, his eyes glowing in the dim candlelight. "You have done well, my love," he whispered. "Now you must rest. Tomorrow your true journey begins." I wanted to ask what he meant, but my tongue felt thick, useless. My body moved on its own as he led me down a narrow, winding corridor deeper into the house. The walls were covered in strange symbols painted in a dark rust-colored liquid. I didn't want to think about what it was. We reached a bedroom, vast yet eerily empty except for a single massive bed in the center. The sheets were black satin and something about them felt wrong. "Sleep," he commanded. I hesitated, but my body was exhausted. The moment my head touched the pillow, I fell into a deep, dreamless sleep. I woke up to whispers, not loud but right in my ear, as if unseen mouths were speaking directly into my soul. The room was dark, but the air was alive with movement. Shadows twisted along the walls, shifting in unnatural ways. Then I saw them. Figures stood at the foot of my bed, tall, faceless beings draped in red robes, their hands long and bony with sharp claw-like fingers. They didn't move, but I could feel them watching me. I couldn't breathe. My body would move. I wanted to scream, but my throat was locked. Then one of them raised its hand and pointed at me. A deep, echoing voice filled the room, though its mouth did not move. "You belong to us now." The bed beneath me shook, the black sheets twisting like living things, wrapping around my wrists and ankles, pulling me down. I gasped as my body sank into the mattress. No, not a mattress, something deeper, endless, like a pit covered by fabric. The voices grew louder. The shadows pressed against me, slithering under my skin. And then silence. I woke up to the sound of humming. I was back in the bedroom, but everything was different. The air was thick with the scent of something sweet and rotten. The walls, which had been smooth before, now pulsed as if they were breathing. I turned my head and saw him, Mr. Anonymous, sitting at the edge of the bed, humming softly, but his face, it wasn't the same. His features had stretched, his skin too smooth, too tight. His eyes were black, void, endless and hungry. "You are ready," he whispered, reaching out to stroke my face. His fingers were ice cold, leaving a trail of numbness where they touched me. I tried to sit up, but my body was stiff, my muscle refusing to obey. "The ritual was a success," he continued. "You are bound to me now, my queen. My blood flows in your veins. My power is yours and theirs." He gestured to the corners of the room where shadows twisted and curled, and then I felt it, something moving inside me, a crawling sensation beneath my skin, like 1,000 teeny insects burrowing through my flesh. I opened my mouth to scream, but no sound came out. Instead, I laughed, a deep, hollow laugh that did not belong to me. I could feel them now inside me, the things in the shadows. They were part of me. I had become one of them, and there was no turning back.